The golden streaks from the dawn-lit mountains embrace this land. It is the easternmost part of India, Arunachal Pradesh. This gap of the eastern Himalayas forms the route through which the knowledge base of the Oriental region flowed westwards to Eurasia. Every age or epoch has a story of domination. The story that tells us about the arrival of the fittest. It is here, deep inside these gorges and streams, that we get a glimpse of the rare features of nature at their best. In the Namdapha National Park, where some of the greatest wonders are yet to be explored. The Namdapha National Park, the last of the East. Namdapha unfolds its slopes and valleys and seems to reveal the courses of migrations, the route through which the forefathers of Arunachalis and Naga people came and settled here. From Singhphos who ruled the region to the Chakma refugees from former East Pakistan or today's Bangladesh, form the broad-spectrum humans who found Namdapha to be a better place to live. The fringes of Namdapha have a good population of Chakmas and the Tibetan Buddhists who migrated in 1951, following the occupation of Tibet by the Chinese military. The liberation of Bangladesh led to the added population pressure on Namdapha. The concern for secure borders made it inevitable for the Indian Armed Forces to tackle positions within 25 miles of the free transit zone between Myanmar and India. This led to the displacement of the Lisu tribes, and the struggle began here. An open confrontation between the forest officials and the Lisu tribes.
1947, some idea was mooted, but these things could not be done during that time. Then after 1962, the Chinese aggression, you might be knowing it, took place. After that, lot of papers, etc. was misplaced. And then in due course of time, again, all those things was recovered. And during 1970, the area was declared as a Namdapha Reserve Forest. So this Namdapha Reserve Forest was declared during 1970. After that, on the 2nd October 1972, the same area was upgraded into wildlife sanctuary. Then again, during 1983, it was declared as Tiger Reserve. So it is the 15th Tiger Reserve of the India, and 1983 itself, it was declared as a national park.
In the heat and dust of this conflict for establishing their rights by Lisus, and in the race to establish authority by the forest officials, many of the precious animals were wiped out. Who is to be blamed?
नेशनल पार्क का जो सोल्यूशन निकलना था उस समय में ये लोग बिल्कुल आता नहीं है, बोलता नहीं है, और बीच में क्या होता है, और वाइल्ड लाइफ डिपार्टमेंट तो अपना फोर्सफुली करते रहता है, उधर तो डेवलपमेंट में तो हमारा हैम्पर है, राइट भी नहीं है, और विजयनगर में तो बिल्कुल सीयू भी नहीं बैठता है, डॉक्टर नहीं बैठता है, एजुकेशन स्कूल खोल कर रखा हुआ है, हाई सेकेंडरी स्कूल भी खोल कर रखा हुआ है, कभी साल में 2, कभी साल में 3, तो आप सोचिए सर, कैसे आदमी बढ़ेगा? क्लास 6, 7 पढ़ने के बाद लड़का लोग तो यहाँ आने का खर्चा भी नहीं है, तो ये लोग क्या करेगा? खेती करेगा, शिकार करेगा.
In the buffer zone and interiors of the forests, the pressure is created on the ecosystem by the newly introduced species. The introduction of new species of animals and plants is required for the survival of the settlers, whether they be transplanted Chakmas or forest officials, resulting in the systematic imbalance in nature. Any new species of plant or animal when it intrudes into a natural habitat, brings along with it an undesirable host of other factors, ranging from microbes to symbiotic forms or dependents. This brings in a change in the ecosystem from the micro level onwards. Moreover, most of these will interfere with the routes of migration of the original species or inhabitants. Sometimes these can create undesirable residues in the soil that may negate the growth of other microbial systems or may foster the growth of another. By all means, such interventions are disastrous to the natural system. Along with this, the forest system became the ideological clash ground between human beings as well, all for survival. That can be seen in every aspect of nature which we get in Namdapha. For ages, Namdapha remained unspoilt from human interference. Most of the area is still inaccessible, except a few pockets where poachers and forest officials have made camps. The core zone of Namdapha is nearly 1,808 square kilometers, and the buffer zone, where human intervention extends, is nearly 177.4 square kilometers. The tract from Miao to Empen Check Gate is nearly 9 kilometers by foot, and after crossing Empen, another 7 kilometers away is the magic world named after the gibbons land. Hollock gibbons are the only ape species found in India. As a self-defense mechanism or protective behavior, these gibbons can be spotted somewhere far among the foliages of tall trees. During nearly a month of expedition here, they surfaced only once at such a far distance. Their sharp call can be heard miles away. Among the macaques or the langurs, the Assamese macaque is predominantly seen here. Moving in groups, they follow the course along the Empen River to the Dehing River from one side and then to the other side. The macaques and the gibbons share the same habitat and have several commonalities in food habits. Fruits of this wild fig tree and this red fruit, locally called bandardima, is also their favorite. Among the rodents, Namdapha has quite a sizable population of the Malayan giant squirrel. Mostly, they feed on flowers and fruits. Hoary-bellied Himalayan squirrels can be spotted near to the 40th mile. The most interesting squirrel that needs intense searching is the flying squirrel. And the long wait for the flying squirrel to come out ends as it turns away and vanishes in a flicker. The flying squirrel can never fly, but it can glide with the help of a fold of furry skin extending along each side of the body, from the wrist to the ankle. The smallest squirrel is the palm squirrel, very difficult to be located as its color mostly resembles the bark of the tree. The evergreen forest of Namdapha has a lot to explore in its hidden depths. Crossing the Noa Dehing River becomes difficult during most of the year, except for a couple of weeks in November and December. That too, at times, is also uncertain. Rains in the hills can keep one landlocked for weeks together. Both the banks are rich in biodiversity.
You will see in the winter the snow-covered peaks are there, and there generally it is the home ground for the snow leopard, which are still yet unexplored due to the these things, what is the configuration and any inaccessibility of those areas.
Namdapha was claimed, though not to be seen around, these pug marks are the only proof of their existence. And hostile terrain do not permit any such studies. One has to go by the records of the tribes who frequent the interiors of these forests and those who agree that once they used to hunt for commercial purposes.
कुछ साल पहले तो बिक्री हुआ था, बहुत पहले 20-25 साल पहले तो बिक्री होता था, शिकार करता था। आजकल तो हाथी भी इतना वो दांत वाला नहीं है, शेर भी इतना जल्दी मिलता नहीं है, भालू भी इतना मिलता नहीं है, उसका प्रोडक्शन कमती हो गया।
The distributions of the living systems are closely interlinked with the drainage system. The Dapha Bum Ridge that runs from east to west is drained by the Namdapha River. The Deban River drains the entire southern face of the ridge. This finally culminates into the Great Noa Dehing River. The rivulets, which take a course along the ridges, join at Deban. From here, the course of the river is quite rough. Noa Dehing cuts across the ridges and flows further. Along the sedimentary hills, the loose soil permeates seepage. In the seepage routes along the slopes, the most prominent vegetation is of Colocasia species, or Arabi, as in Hindustani. The seepage at several places also has the Pandanus species, which is more akin to tropical wetlands of India. This is another key species that can throw light on the discontinuous distribution. Plantain or Musa species are growing well along the seepage areas. Next to this, at the bottom layers, form the ferns. Livingstone jenkinensis, or jing, is a palm-like tree that abundantly grows along the seepage areas. This forms one of the major components of the undergrowth and is in much demand by the tribes living nearby as a roofing material. Plantain species form a major fodder for the elephants. The abundant growth indicates that the elephants no more traverse through this belt. The eastern Himalayas are most sedimentary in nature. During every rain, landslides are frequent. And this is the reason by which the secondary propagation also happens naturally. Such landslides are also a major hindrance in conducting studies here. Every aspect of the forest is a strong component of the ecosystem. The fallen trees, as they wither off, form a substrate for microbial action and replenishment of the soil system. Insects that depend on minute organisms also move in. The moisture is retained by fungal and other small mosses growing, creating a spongy layer for mushrooms to grow. In a living tree, the same spongy layer gives adequate room for orchids and other saprophytes to grow. Although more than 400 species of orchids have been discovered in this zone, the unexplored regions can be the host of several rare orchids. Bamboo orchids are plenty. Changes in the natural habitat and the lust for micropropagation for commercial purposes have made the orchids shrink. Maybe the loss of natural habitats in the fringes may make the orchids vanish. The only way to rescue the species may be these orchidariums. In its entire depth, Namdapha still nurtures many species of plants which have rare features. Shima Valichi is a tree that creates an allergy to passers-by. People who pass even through the near vicinity of this tree get irritation and itching on the skin, which later on develops into boils. Starcosa villosa, or the udal tree, is another species that has high commercial value. The bark of the udal tree is highly fibrous and has good strength as well, and therefore is used by the tribes for making ropes. Another prominent tree species is the Murasalba or bola tree, which has a high traditional value in tribal society. The wood of the bola tree is termite resistant and non-corroding and can last for over a century. Where there are flowers, there are also butterflies. Namdapha has a record of 140 species of butterflies. Dragonflies, which have almost got wiped out from many parts of the tropics, somehow have survived deep inside these forests. Another amazing aspect of Namdapha is that out of the 11 species of insectivores found in India, 5 of them are present in Namdapha. Most interestingly, deep blue damselflies were the rare ones to be found here. Moths, a few of them of amazing beauty, display the aerodynamic design of nature and are quite fascinating. Beetles are often unwanted visitors. After the rains, they get hallucinations, even by candlelight, and get into trouble. It's a mammoth effort for them to turn back and fly off. Grasshoppers are seen less frequently. This is a good indication for the predator-prey balance in this case. Indian red ants are widely distributed. With the advent of the monsoon, they club together the leaves and mostly lead a leisurely life in the extreme rain. Honeybees are abundant in the forest areas, but due to restrictions, the local tribesmen do not harvest this minor forest produce. Some insects camouflage themselves and are difficult to spot in Namdapha. Stick insects or phasmids and the leaf-shaped grasshopper are some of the ones that could be spotted. Earthworms constitute one of the prominent annelid species. During the rains, these come out to escape from waterlogged areas. As many as 10 species have been identified in the Namdapha National Park. Leeches are unwanted guests. The heavy presence of leeches tells the story of the multiplicity of animals around. Altogether, 5 species of leeches are identified from this area. Huge tall trees provide an ideal breeding ground for the hornbills. During the period from April to June, only single hornbills could be spotted. The female hornbill remains confined in the nests inside the tree holes, and the males go in search of food, feeding the mother and the chicks till they fly. Mostly the male hornbills are accompanied by another bird, the lesser racket-tailed drongo or Dichrysis remifer. This is an easy way of feeding for them, as the leftovers by the hornbills are amply enough for them to survive. One of the largest hornbills spotted was the Great Hornbill Bucerus bicornis. This seemingly had a wingspread of 130 centimeters. Another species of hornbill, the Oriental pied hornbill, or Anthracoceros coronatus, is also a rare sight. This brown and gold striped spider resembles the banana spiders found in North America. There is no doubt that its web is quite strong, as it could withstand heavy wind speeds. This is a strong indication that spider silk will be the material of the future, as it is the toughest natural fiber known. Spiders may also serve as biocontrol agents, as they are good predators of insects. And now this is just the reverse of the theory. Do not get misguided that this green spider is preying upon the hornet wasp. The hornet wasp overpowers the spider with its toxic venom injected to it through the rear sting. The spider is almost paralyzed. And now watch. It's not scissors. It's simply the clasps of the mouth that are ripping off the spider's legs. And a turn to the other side. The work is done in a pre-planned way and is not by accident, but must be of a routine nature. What the entire hornet wasp is trying is to get rid of the spider's leg to maintain the aerodynamics of its flight to the nest. The weight of the spider also needs to be reduced, and so it is dragged and dragged till friction wears out the tissues of the spider for the final takeoff. Somehow, our naturalists are only concerned with large animals when they talk about conservation. These small and less charming creatures are forgotten, although they form the basis of the sustenance of natural systems and serve as controlling mechanisms. Namdapha has all that to justify a new initiative in the conservation efforts. The fishes of Namdapha idly throw light on the relic forms and are a living testimony to arrive at conclusive inferences for the discontinuous distribution of species. The rich heritage of Namdapha is evident from the fact that 10 species of earthworms, 5 species of leeches, 430 species of insects, 140 species of butterflies and moths, 76 species of fishes, 25 species of amphibians, 50 species of birds, and 96 species of mammals form the major bulk of the animal kingdom here. All this richness and diversity does not matter much, as the conservation efforts and the management comes to a confrontation. Lisus or Yobin tribes known to inhabit Namdapha became hostile as they were flushed out of their original habitats. Until date, no settlement has been reached. Lisus are branded as hunters. Lisus in Arunachal Pradesh, who were believed to have migrated from the Patkai mountain ranges, now have the status of a religious minority. Here is what the 3 major players in the confrontation have to say: the Tangsa Nagas, Lisus, and the forest officials.
बैकवर्ड आदमी है, वो तो दुनिया के बारे में इतना जानकारी नहीं है, इसलिए इन लोग ज़्यादा तौर पर जंगली शिकार खाते हैं, ज़्यादा शिकार का इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं, और शिकार करने में उनमें फ़ायदा भी है। इन लोगों का नशा है एक तो चीज़, जो शिकार मारने से हरिन मारने से हरिन का तो आपका ये सींग तो बिकता है, अच्छा भाव मिलता है। वो शेर मारने से भी शेर का उसका छाला वो भी सुखा के वो भी बहुत महंगा होता है, वो भी बिक्री होता है। उसका बोन्स भी वो हड्डी जो है शेर का वो हड्डी है उसको भी जमा करके उसको भी बिक्री करता है।
Earlier, actually, these Lisu settlers, those who are inside the park, now is being alleged that they are doing the poaching, they are killing the animals and like that. But perhaps they might have done earlier. I don't say that they have not done it.
अरुणाचल में कोई ट्राइब भी बाघ का वो मारने का नियम नहीं है, लेकिन अभी ये 20th सेंचुरी में क्या हुआ, बाघ का वैल्यू है बोलता है। ये सब चीज़ शिकारी जो है हमको भी मालूम नहीं है, कोई चुप करके सिर्फ लिसु नहीं है, ये मैं चैलेंज में बोल रहा हूँ। ये नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न में सारा इंडिया में जो हो रहा है ना, लिसु के ऊपर में ब्लेम होगा तो मैं चैलेंज करता हूँ, लिसु नहीं है। शायद कोई धनी आदमी, कोई स्मगलर, कोई चैनल बनाकर हुआ है, लेकिन ये डिफेक्ट क्यों हुआ है? कुछ बाघ था, मैं ये मानता हूँ, लेकिन वही वाइल्ड लाइफ का बदमाशी से हुआ है। मैं खुद देखा हूँ वाइल्ड लाइफ का आदमी, कुछ आदमी पहले का आज नहीं है, कुछ शिकारी था। तो अगर डिपार्टमेंट ही कोई ऐसे आदमी होता तो इन्वॉल्व होता तो पब्लिक को क्या बोले?
The contention of the Lisus may be debatable, but this is a lesson to the caretakers of conservation that public participation and involvement, especially awareness in the buffer zone and fringe villages, is the key to effective conservation.
अरे जब जीने का सवाल होता है, राइट भी नहीं है तो हम क्यों नहीं जाएगा, हम क्यों नहीं लड़ेगा? आप कुछ मत बोलो, अगर आप रुकाएगा आपको भी मार डालेगा।
All these may be repetitions for a new chapter from an unwritten volume of natural history. Taking a note of the melody that still emanates from the grace of nature's own creations, Nuar Dehing flows quietly, and the mist envelops her with a sheath, rendering tender care and hope that all are safe as is in nature and as long as it is nature. The Lisus may be an eye-opener for us to draw a line on the limits of human intervention in the environment. The evergreen rainforests of Namdapha certainly are the last of their kind left with us on the eastern fringes of the nation, waiting for human wisdom and timely action to save this last of the East.